Welcome back to Superbly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
Yeah, and before we jump in today, we should mention where our source material is coming from.
Right, absolutely. So today's material actually comes straight from a SpeakDuo lesson. Specifically, it's based on an old episode of the classic television show The Avengers.
Oh, right. Season 5, I think, episode 7.
Yeah, exactly. The episode is called The Living Dead. And just a quick note for you listening, you can go to speakduo.com to meet new people from around the world who are practicing English on video calls to become more confident with their English speaking abilities.
Definitely check that out. But let's just dive right into our mission for today. No long preambles here.
Agreed.
The simple fact is that mastering these very specific idioms and expressions, well, it's absolutely essential for advanced English learners.
Right, because if you're tuning into this deep dive, you're probably looking to elevate how you communicate.
Exactly. You want to go beyond just the basics.
Yeah, you want that exact vocabulary to sound remarkably fluent and precise, whether you're, I don't know, navigating some complex office politics or sitting down for an IELTS exam.
Right. And to do that, we thought we'd build a bit of a story today. Like, let's imagine a workplace crisis.
Ooh, I like that. A massive, unexpected disruption.
Yeah, because the very first thing that happens when chaos strikes is usually noise, literal noise.
Right, and the phrase advanced speakers use here is to kick up a racket.
That is the perfect starting point, actually. So kicking up a racket means to make a loud, disruptive noise.
Okay, but let's unpack this for a second. Why not just say, making noise?
Right.
Like, if my team is chatting loudly about a new project in the break room, are they kicking up a racket?
No, not quite. That's really just a lively discussion. Making a noise is completely neutral.
Right.
A refrigerator makes a noise. A passing car makes a noise. But kicking up a racket implies a noise that is sustained, annoying, and often pretty chaotic.
Ah, okay. So it's a disruption you literally can't ignore.
Exactly. It forces you to stop whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
Using the word racket just paints this really vibrant picture of intense irritation.
I can easily picture using this in like an IELTS Part 2 scenario.
Oh, definitely.
Say the examiner asks you to describe a time you were annoyed by a neighbor. Instead of saying, my neighbors were making a noise, you would say, last weekend, the teenagers next door kicked up a racket until midnight.
And it kept everyone in the building awake.
Yeah, it just sounds so much more native.
Right. Or even in a workplace scenario, like you're on a really important Zoom call with a client.
Ugh, the worst.
Yeah, and you have to apologize because the construction crew outside is kicking up a racket with their jackhammers.
It perfectly conveys that chaotic nature of the sound. Now, if we transition from that external disruption, the literal noise, to an internal disruption.
Right. What happens inside your head?
Exactly. When that chaos hits you, it tends to rattle you.
Rattle.
Yeah, to rattle someone means to make them feel unsettled or nervous. Right, and I want to clarify this one because I used to mix this up with just being anxious or worried.
It's a common mistake, yeah.
But worrying is usually this slow, lingering feeling in the background, isn't it?
Exactly. What's fascinating here is really the mechanics of the feeling. Like, worry is a slow burn.
Right.
It builds over days or weeks. But being rattled is this sudden, sharp shake to your overall confidence.
Wow, okay.
Think of an actual physical baby's rattle. It's an abrupt, jarring motion back and forth.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Right. So psychologically, when a disruption gets in your head and instantly throws you off balance, well, you're rattled.
So imagine you're about to give this massive presentation to the executive team.
You feel entirely prepared.
Exactly. But right before you speak your very first word, your boss asks an unexpected, highly complex question about some budget shortfall from 3 years ago.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah, that sudden rush of panic where you completely lose your train of thought that's being rattled.
Right. It's not that you were worried about the presentation in general.
No, it's that this specific surprise question completely unsettled you in that exact moment. You lost your footing.
It shakes your foundation instantly.
Which brings us to a disruption that is a bit more physical, though we often use it metaphorically in professional settings.
Right. Sometimes the chaos doesn't just rattle you, it physically catches you.
Yeah, and the phrase here is to wing someone.
Yes. To wing someone means to graze or narrowly hit someone accidentally.
But wait, why wing? Like, why not just say you were hit or struck?
Well, if you're hit by something, it implies a direct, solid impact, right? A car hits a wall.
Sure.
But the etymology of winging actually comes from bird hunting.
Wait, really?
Yeah. If a hunter shoots at a bird and only hits its wing, well, the bird isn't dead.
Oh, wow.
Its flight path is altered, and it's definitely hurt, but it can often keep flying or eventually recover.
That is fascinating.
So if you are winged, it basically means the object just caught the edge of you. You were technically hit, yes, but not squarely.
So you can usually recover pretty quickly and just continue whatever you were doing.
Exactly.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So if you're answering an IELTS Part 2 prompt about a sports experience, you might describe playing tennis and say, a stray ball from the next court winged him, but he was still able to continue playing.
Right. Or even in everyday life. You might say, a passing car threw up a pebble that winged me on the shoulder while I was walking.
You weren't seriously injured, it just grazed you.
Right. You were touched by the disruption, but it didn't stop you completely.
Okay, so let's look at the next phase of our fictional corporate crisis.
Yeah, we've had the initial chaos, people are rattled, maybe some careers have been weaned.
So what happens next?
People start investigating. They move into information warfare.
Ooh, here's where it gets really interesting. When a team is rattled, someone usually tries to uncover the root cause.
Right, they start to dig something up.
Which means to uncover hidden or forgotten information.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture of vocabulary, you really want to contrast digging up with simpler verbs like find or discover.
Right, because you might just find a $5 bill on the sidewalk.
Exactly. Or you discover a great new coffee shop by accident. But digging up implies this heavy, deliberate, sometimes dirty effort.
You need a metaphorical shovel.
Yeah. You are unearthing something that was intentionally buried, hidden, or just long forgotten by time.
Like a detective getting their hands dirty.
Exactly.
So in a professional setting, you wouldn't just find an old discrepancy. You might say, my colleague spent 12 hours in the archives digging up old financial records from 10 years ago to prove her point.
Right. Or, on a lighter note, for an IELTS topic about history, you could say, I spent the weekend at the municipal library trying to dig up historical photos from old newspapers.
To learn more about my hometown's founding. I love that. It shows really active, persistent investigation.
It does, but, once you dig that information up, you don't usually just keep it a secret.
No, you circulate it.
Which leads to our next phrase. Advanced speakers don't just tell a story about what they found, they spread a story.
I love the nuance here. Because if I tell a story, I have an audience.
Right, a specific audience.
Yeah, I'm speaking to you directly. Maybe over a cup of coffee. It's a very controlled environment.
But spreading a story implies rapid viral circulation.
It's like a contagion.
Exactly. It's usually driven by surprise or really strong emotions, not just a casual recount of daily events.
That viral nature is the core of it, right? You don't just tell one person. The information moves from person to person without your control.
Think of an office environment where someone digs up a rumor about corporate restructuring.
Oh, boy.
You would say, by morning, the employees had spread a story about the possible management changes.
It highlights exactly how fast and uncontrollably the information moved through the whole building.
And usually when those stories spread and things go wrong, well, someone has to take the fall.
Naturally. And that leads us to the phrase, shift the blame.
Which means to redirect fault onto someone else.
But I have to ask, how is shifting the blame different from simply, accusing someone?
That is a crucial distinction, actually. Because if you accuse someone, you are just pointing a finger.
Right.
You might have absolutely nothing to do with the situation yourself. But to shift the blame implies that the fault originally pointed at you.
Ah. The spotlight of consequence was shining directly on your face.
Exactly. But instead of apologizing or taking responsibility, you actively push that spotlight onto a colleague.
Wow.
You are manually moving the burden from your own shoulders to theirs.
It's like playing hot potato with a major mistake.
That's a perfect way to put it.
You could use this perfectly in an interview or an exam to describe a challenging work dynamic. Like when the major marketing project failed, instead of admitting his error, the director tried to shift the blame onto a junior coworker.
To avoid the consequences.
Right. It paints a very vivid, honestly somewhat toxic picture of that person's character.
It certainly does. And what is the ultimate consequence of all this toxic behavior? Well, if you are caught shifting the blame or causing these kinds of scandals, you face expulsion.
You are drummed out.
Yes. This means to force someone to leave a group in disgrace.
So what does this all mean in practice? Let's say my company's downsizing. Am I being drummed out?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Firing someone or laying them off is a quiet administrative process. Sometimes it's literally just budget cuts.
Right, nothing personal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But being drummed out implies a deeply public, disgraceful, and almost ceremonial removal from a group.
Ceremonial.
Yeah, it actually comes from an old military practice where a disgraced soldier was literally marched out of the camp in front of everyone to the rhythmic beat of a snare drum.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Right. So in a modern context, we use it when someone is expelled due to a massive scandal or repeatedly breaking the rules.
It's a public shaming. So
Exactly.
you would say, after the financial embezzlement was uncovered, the board of directors drummed the CEO out of the organization.
Or in a social context, in my previous chess club, a member was drummed out for repeatedly breaking our core rules and cheating.
It really emphasizes the collective rejection by the entire group.
Precisely. Now, we've built this entire story of chaos, the racket, the rattled nerves, the rumors, the shifting blame, the scandals.
It's a mess.
It is. So how do good, effective leaders step into this mess and restore order?
They use direct action. They exhibit executive presence.
Yes, and I love this transition. When a leader steps in, they don't have time to navigate every little rumor.
No, they have to cut through something, which is defined as getting past an obstacle quickly and directly.
Exactly.
I always think of this like a seasoned explorer using a machete in a thick, overgrown jungle.
Ooh, that's a great visual.
Right, you aren't trying to draw a map of the jungle. You are just hacking a straight, violent line right through the vines to get to the other side.
That's a perfect physical analogy.
Yeah.
The contrast here is with words like navigate or figure out.
Right, if you navigate a problem, you're carefully moving around the obstacles.
Maybe accommodating people's feelings. But cutting through means ignoring the distracting noise, the petty rumors, and the blame.
And slicing straight down to the core issue.
Right, so in a meeting where everyone is arguing and kicking up a racket,
The great manager steps in.
exactly, you would say her clear explanation cut through the confusion and helped everyone decide on a direction instantly.
She didn't entertain the chaos. She used her machete.
Exactly. And sometimes clarity isn't quite enough. Sometimes you have to stop the chaos entirely.
And to do that, a leader will stop something cold, meaning to halt something completely and immediately.
Right.
But why add the word cold? Like, why not just say bring to an end or slow down?
Well, adding the word cold changes the entire physics of the phrase. Think about friction.
Okay.
If you slow something down, it still has some forward momentum.
That makes sense.
Even if you bring something to an end, it sounds like a gradual fading process.
Right, like it's winding down.
Exactly. But to stop something cold means absolutely zero momentum remains. It hits a solid brick wall and dies instantly in its tracks.
That is so powerful for describing decisive leadership. Let's say a damaging story is spreading around the office about mass layoffs.
A terrible situation.
Right, so you could say, management held an emergency public meeting and provided the actual financial facts to stop the false rumor cold.
It wasn't a gradual fade over a few weeks.
No, it was an instant termination of the rumor that very hour.
Exactly. And once a leader has cut through the noise and stopped the rumors cold, they can finally give their team some peace of mind.
They can tell them to rest assured, which means to be confident that something is guaranteed.
This just sounds so much more elevated than just saying, don't worry.
It is entirely different. Don't worry is casual. It's what you say to a friend when they spill coffee on your shoes.
Right, no big deal.
But rest assured is a formal, highly professional guarantee. It tells the listener that your confidence isn't just blind optimism.
It is based on clear deadlines, reliable people, and concrete plans.
So if your boss is rattling you with panicked questions about a major client deadline,
You don't just say, don't worry, we'll do it.
no, that sounds super flimsy. You look him in the eye and say, rest assured, the team will finish the work on time.
It really commands respect.
It absolutely does. It projects total competence.
All right, we have unpacked a lot of incredibly nuanced, advanced English vocabulary today.
We've survived the racket, the rumors, and the blame.
And now it is time to put you to the test. Let's jump into the superbly said quiz.
Yes, I want you to test your newly acquired advanced vocabulary. Let's see how well these concepts have stuck.
For this quiz, we will read the question and 3 options. Option A, Option B, and Option C.
And we'll give you a moment to think before we reveal the answer.
Okay, question 1. Which scenario best describes a group kicking up a racket?
Option A, deliberately ignoring a minor inconvenience during a big meeting.
Option B, successfully organizing a complex and large social gathering event.
Or Option C, generating a remarkably loud and disruptive noise in public spaces.
Feel free to pause the audio here if you need to think about the answer.
So the answer is option C, generating a remarkably loud and disruptive noise in public spaces.
That is the exact definition of kicking up a racket.
Right. Remember our IELTS example about the noisy neighbors or the teenagers next door who kicked up a racket and kept everyone in the building awake?
Exactly. Okay, question 2. What is the primary implication of digging up information?
Option A, to uncover hidden information that was previously long forgotten.
Option B, to physically plant new seeds in a small community garden space.
Or option C, to effectively conceal sensitive data from any unauthorized eyes.
Go ahead and pause the playback here if you need a second to think.
The answer is option A, to uncover hidden information that was previously long forgotten.
That active, deliberate investigation is what it means to dig something up.
Just like our example of the colleague digging up old financial records or spending the weekend digging up historical photos for your hometown's history.
Spot on. Moving to question 3. What occurs when a professional is drummed out of a group?
Option A, inviting a talented musician to join a professional jazz ensemble.
Option B, forcing an individual to leave a group in a state of deep disgrace.
Or option C, promoting a dedicated employee to a senior management position now.
Need a second? Go ahead and pause this deep dive right here before we reveal the answer.
And the answer is option B, forcing an individual to leave a group in a state of deep disgrace.
That very public shaming is what happens when someone is drummed out.
Think back to the example of the committee drumming a CEO out of an organization after a massive financial scandal.
Exactly. Okay, question 4. How would you describe a situation that manages to rattle you?
Option A, making an individual feel remarkably unsettled or quite nervous now.
Option B, providing constructive feedback to improve team performance levels.
Or option C, encouraging a teammate to pursue a challenging new opportunity yet.
Feel free to pause the audio right here to lock in your guess.
The answer is option A, making an individual feel remarkably unsettled or quite nervous now.
Right, when a sudden shock does that, it manages to rattle you.
Remember the example of the boss asking an unexpected, highly complex budget question that rattles you right before a big presentation?
Oof, yeah. All right, question 5. Which behavior is characteristic of an attempt to shift the blame?
Option A, accepting full responsibility for a significant team failure today.
Option B, resolving a heated conflict between two opposing departments quickly.
Or option C, redirecting the fault for a major mistake onto another person now.
You can pause the track for a moment if you're still deciding.
The answer is option C, redirecting the fault for a major mistake onto another person now.
Passing that hot potato is exactly how you shift the blame.
We talked about a director shifting the blame onto a junior coworker when a major marketing project fails to avoid the consequences.
Right. Okay, question 6. What does it mean when a director tells you to rest assured?
Option A, to be extremely worried about the outcome of a major new project.
Option B, to be entirely confident that a specific result is guaranteed now.
Or option C, to be physically exhausted after completing a very difficult task.
Go ahead and pause the audio if you want to mull that over.
And the answer is option B, to be entirely confident that a specific result is guaranteed now.
That formal professional guarantee is what you provide when told to rest assured.
Like when you look your boss in the eye and say, rest assured, the team will finish the work on time.
Perfect. Question 7. What does a manager do when they cut through the confusion?
Option A, to bypass a complex obstacle quickly and in a very direct manner.
Option B, to intentionally complicate a simple and administrative process now.
Or option C, to meticulously analyze every minor detail of a long legal report.
Take a quick pause here if you need more time.
So the answer is option A, to bypass a complex obstacle quickly and in a very direct manner.
Using that metaphorical machete is how you cut through something.
Remember the example of a manager giving a clear explanation that cuts through the confusion and helps everyone decide instantly.
Yes. Okay, last one. Question 8. What is the intended effect when trying to stop a rumor cold?
Option A, to gradually reduce the overall temperature of a very large room.
Option B, to enthusiastically support the launch of a significant initiative.
Or option C, to halt an ongoing process completely and in an immediate manner.
Hit the pause button if you want to figure this one out before we say it.
The answer is option C, to halt an ongoing process completely and in an immediate manner.
Hitting that brick wall with zero momentum left is the exact effect when you stop something cold.
We discussed management providing facts publicly to stop a false rumor cold instantly.
Right. And, as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with something to really think about.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about how much of our professional lives actually involves managing this kind of turbulent information.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. How many workplace conflicts could be entirely avoided if we just focused our collective energy on cutting through confusion and stopping rumors cold, rather than spending our valuable time constantly shifting the blame onto each other?
Wow, that is a phenomenal, really provocative question to leave you with. Keep practicing these vivid phrases, integrate them into your daily conversations or your exam prep, and rest assured that your English will always be superbly said. We'll catch you on the